Greetings, greetings, greetings. Um, Welcome to the second Conscious Creations Live. Um, yeah, I know that of the subscribers, um, there is no one that has checked in as of yet, and that's okay because I always like to just start, get the information out there. Um, and I know that people will watch the replay, and that is absolutely fine. And as we continue to grow and expand the channel, I know that more people will join and the lives will increase and all that good stuff. But for now, um, I wanted to make this video because um, I've been having these conversations. First of all, let me back up for a second. I hope that y'all are doing well. Wherever you are, wherever you may find yourself, I hope that you find yourself well because that's key. That is key. Um, I'm making this video. Today is it's 9:16 on the clock, and it is 9:16, the date on the calendar. Um, Last I checked, right? So, making this video because full moon in Pisces. So, over the last couple of days, the moon has been bright and brilliant and all the things, right? And I don't know about y'all, but like for me, the creativity has been very, very heightened. Um, so much so that I have just, everything that I want to create, I'm creating, right? So I'm in this very creative space. And so that's what I'm seeing as is a lot of the energy. So it's either folks are very creative or tired, right? Very focused and like, hey, let's get it, or I'm tired, right? Wherever you find yourself on the spectrum, though, I wanted to tap in with folks and to, really talk about what I'm experiencing, and also to see what you all are experiencing, to see what y'all are going through in your, in your reality. Um, this I thought was very important to talk about the Pisces full moon, some of the themes that are coming up, like I said, around creativity, but also around the womb and clearing, because as this cycle closes, right? We're talking about the closing of this, as they say, the Piscean age, right? This age of I believe, and entering formally into this age of Aquarius, which is the age of I know, right? I know. And so tomorrow, actually, as of today, the moon is in Pisces right now. Don't ask me all the deacons and the stellums and all that kind of stuff. That's not my thing yet. But my homegirl, Solara Rises and Solara Speaks. I think those are both her channels. That's Solarah. She does a great full moon update about these things, and she's just really, really good at that. So, if you have any questions about the specifics regarding the moon phases and things like that, she's a good person to go to for that. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about the energies that I'm seeing and what I'm seeing in my own life, some of the themes that are coming up for me, and what I'm seeing for other people. And we're on this huge awakening and this shift of the collective consciousness, like I said, from this concept of I believe, and to know that this is I know. And shout out to all of y'all, because for those who have been doing this work, doing the spiritual work in these spiritual streets, you are the front runners. You are the front runners of this change and of this shift. So thank you so much. Thank you to each and every one of you who has been active, right? Actively engaged in creating the reality that you want to see, truly creating the reality to shift the let's say conscious creations, right? To shift the consciousness of the collective by consciously creating in your own reality. And so shout out to y'all, because I'm sure that you are seeing a lot of shifts and a lot of movement in your individual lives. And then as that happens, the shift will start, the shift will affect, of course, the collective consciousness, because some of the things that we tolerated in previous cycles are no longer tolerated, because that's just not, we're not in that element, or not in that particular energy. And as you all are probably aware, Aquarius is, an air sign. Even though Aquarius is the water bearer, Aquarius is the air sign. I mean, is an air element. And the reason I think that is so key, right, is because I think, as I look at the Aquarian as a glyph, glib, whatever, right, the actual imagery of the Aquarian symbol, or of the Aquarian sign, it is the water bearer, right, pouring out water. And every time I think about that, what comes to me is not carrying the waters for other people anymore, right? Because I think one of the things that was happening with this age of the Piscean energy was more so about externalizing your power to a savior. So having to wait for someone else to come save you from whatever is happening. And because of that, it created a scenario where we gave away our power, right? We gave away our power to systems, to people, to narratives. You know what I mean? We gave away our power because we were belying, right? We were believing something. We were believing in something else outside of and outside of ourselves, and to the detriment of ourselves, right? But as we enter this age of Aquarius, it's really a shift in the collective consciousness, whereby it's people are being given back their shit, right? So no longer carrying the quote unquote sins. And I talked about this on the interviews that I did when I had the interview with my homegirl Kia, on the video that is here on the YouTube channel as well, where I talked about that, this concept of allowing someone else to carry your burdens, if you may, to carry your sins, and to take that on as their own, to the point that it kills them, right? And so I think in society, this narrative that no, you can just kind of give and give and dump 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 and dump, right? On a person, on a people, on a community, right? For however long, right? Because they are they are the workhorse, or the scapegoat, or whatever else, right? But that's it, right? That's not where we are anymore, right? Because it is important that people have their mental health in balance, that people have their chakras in balance, that all of these things, right? Because, when I think about it specifically for my sisters, for women, um, for generations, right? Because we know about epigenetics. And if you don't, study epigenetics, right? And epigenetics really is, okay, my cells, we each have cells and atoms and everything that makes up the body, right? But we also have the memories, the ancestral memories of our ancestors, of those that came before us, because their blood runs through us, right? And blood, right, is life. And so the life force, the very life force of those that came before us, flow through us. And that also includes their memories, right? Their traumas, their pains, their successes, all of the things, those things carry on in the genetic code, right? Like a computer code. It carries through the genetic code for each generation, unless and until there's an intervening force. And for most of you, if you are resonating with this, you are likely that intervening force for your particular bloodline, or for the generation. You are that, that intervening force, right? On some level. And so what I'm sensing, what is happening is that there's this whole shift of these beings that are now being asked to take your throne, if you may, to take your rightful seat of power, if you may. And we're talking not necessarily power over others, but power over self, right? And being able to walk in that knowing of who you are, despite what other people may say and how other people may want to tell you you are, but you knowing who you are and being able to truly and authentically walk in that, right? And in that, you create a situation where you allow others the freedom to be able to walk in their authenticity. Because one of the things about society is that society can be such a place whereby most beings are not comfortable being themselves, or they don't know who they really are to actually be themselves. And so many of us have come and incarnated at such a time as this to be way showers in whatever way, whatever field, whatever it is that we're doing, to be way showers in that, to, like I said, to give other people the freedom and flexibility in their own consciousness to feel free to be able to be authentic and to walk in their God essence, right? And now, what does this have to do with the womb and creativity? Well, frankly, everything, because everything is birthed through the womb. And Pisces, as we know, is a water sign, right? Pisces being the last zodiacal house, I guess, the 12th house, right? So with Pisces being the oldest zodiac sign and a feminine water sign, we're now talking about the emotions. And when we talk about the emotions as it pertains to epigenetics, one of the things that science shows is that women can hold pain and trauma and the memories of the other women in her particular bloodline until that energy is healed, right? And one of the things that has been happening as of late is I've noticed for myself more cramping, right? More cramping in, like, before I have my menstrual cycle, cramping. And now it's not that the cramps themselves are abnormal, if you may. And when I say abnormal, meaning that this is something that has not happened before. That's what I mean. But it's the placement and the intensity, right? And so that's one of the things that just kind of came to me when, like in my own situation, and I thought about that, right? And I'm having these conversations with other women as well, and now I'm seeing a pattern, right? And so that's what leads me to this place. And as I say that, I sip my fig leaf tea. So fig leaves are actually good to balance the hormones. I've made so many videos about this, y'all. But figs are excellent for actually balancing the hormones, because if you look at a fig leaf, it actually looks like the reproductive organs. So it is also available on the website. But the womb, right? So all of these traumas, all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff that's been in bloodlines for women, whether it be rapes, miscarriages, abortions, domestic violence, whatever sort of violence or trauma that has been done to the feminine womb, that is being cleared, that is being cleansed for generations, right? And so what is happening is that it's coming up, right, to be cleansed, to be cleared, so that as we are birthing new generations of beings, right, that they are not having to heal from these issues that were previously unhealed for whatever reason. Does it make sense? Um, and why this is also important is because right now, the sun is in the sign of Virgo, right? And in Virgo, Virgo deals with the virginal maiden energy, right? And when I think about the Virgo energy, I think about, more of an innocence, more of a purity of energy, um, but also someone who is very uh, thoughtful, right? Because Virgo is, I believe, governed by Mercury, if I'm not mistaken. And Mercury and mercurial energy is fast moving communication, right? It deals with that sort of energy. And so because of that, we're talking about issues dealing with the nervous system. So there's just a lot of stuff, y'all, that's just kind of coming up. But healing these issues in the nervous system. And as we know, part of that is the sacral chakra, which is that seat of reproduction. And so when I think about how the Virgo energy works with the seat of reproduction, which is that Scorpio energy, right? And right below the Virgo energy, because this is all about the body, right? So the Virgo energy dealing with the digestive system. So I think about that in terms of how you actually process the information that you are receiving. So that would be the information. I just made a video about this, about, just eating with your hands, and something I discovered with that in terms of communicating and balancing the feminine energy by eating more, nourishing yourself with your feminine dominant hand, which is the left hand. But anyway, so when Virgo teaches you how to digest, so digestion of the food, digestion of information, digestion of whatever it is that's being consumed, right? And so right now with the sun being in Virgo, we're talking about digesting the information, digesting everything that we've experienced over the last 8 months, right? Leading up to this point. And then tomorrow, of course, culminating into a full moon in Pisces. Pisces also, Virgo being a feminine earth sign, Pisces being a feminine water sign. And so, of course, when you think about planting, right? If you're planting seeds, we're literally talking about planting the earth being the place that you're planting, and the water that's being the nourishment to water what has been planted in the soil, what has been planted in the earth, using that Piscean energy to water that, right? And so that's why I say all of these things that you've been planting, and now this is the time to water those things, to give it the emotion that it requires, to give it what it is that it requires in order to be able to grow. And so that brings me to the energy of the kidneys, because now we're talking about the Libran energy. So as we're going from the sun in Virgo to the sun in Libra, now we're talking about the kidneys. So we're moving further down the body, right? Further into, as they say, the underworld of the body. So we're dealing with the Virgonian energy. I'm sorry, the Libran energy. So we're talking about balance, right? And so this is one of the primary reasons. This balance is one of the primary reasons that it's going to be so key right now to make sure you're doing the yoni steams, to be able to cleanse out, whatever energies that you may need to cleanse out of your body. And also, I just posted a full moon goddess bath salt crystals on the website at www.consciouscreations.live, so y'all can go ahead and go over and pick that up. The reason I'm saying it is this, because as all of these energies are culminating, it's so important to being able to let go of any of the albatross, is that the word? Albatrosses that may be holding on to your energy, right? And so that is to be able to shed that and to bring into balance what needs to be balanced out in your own field. And so this is what I was saying about the cleansing of the womb, because one of the things that has happened in times past is that the the masculine energy and the feminine energy were kept apart, right? And I'm talking internally and externally. So what I mean by when I say that is not being able to operate from your own place of wholeness, right? The masculine side of your consciousness, the feminine side of your consciousness, and bringing those things into union within yourself, right? And then allowing you to, if you desire, right, allowing you to be able to magnetize and attract an external partner to match that wholeness frequency, right? And so cleansing out all of the things that were previously bars and barriers, right, to coming into wholeness within your own consciousness, and thereby having blockages to an externalized relationship to match that, right? I think I just said the same thing in a different way, but it's okay. We you get what I'm saying here, right? And so cleansing the womb, cleansing the womb, cleansing the womb. And now this is also for men, because when I say the womb, yes, I do mean the seat of recreation. Literally. I mean the feminine womb that births creation, right? Cleansing that space, cleansing your yoni, doing a yoni tea. We have an excellent yoni tea on our website. It's called Her Peace. And the whole point of that is truly to bring you back into your own peace or wholeness. You understand? Because what it does, it has different herbs in it to help to cleanse out any parasites, anything that would be stifling and stagnating the energy, and being able to pull that out and to allow that to be released into the waters as rid yourself of that, as you flush that and get rid of that, right? But that's going to be key, right, to making sure that you now have the space to be able to receive wholeness from someone else, because that wholeness now exists in you because you've cleared out anything that is not that, right? So the other thing is for also for my sisters, but also for my brothers, the mind. The mind is a womb, right? Because once you have control of someone's mind, their body will follow, right? So you want to make sure that you are being mindful of what it is that is that's occupying your mind. And sometimes that can be harder than it sounds, right? Because there's so many different things to pull your attention and to distract you and things like that. And I always look at distraction as to dish your traction, right? To get your traction off track, right? And so if you want to, of course, eliminate, if you can, the distractions in a healthy way, right? Eliminate the distractions or minimize the distractions so that you can be focused on what it is that you are creating, right? Because you are consciously creating at all times. Well, unless you're not, right? But generally speaking, we want to be consciously creating. And now the womb, so we talked the reproduction or reproductive system. We talked about the mind. Now the other thing is the gut. All right, this brings me back to Virgo, right? So the gut. Whew, the gut, the gut, the gut, the gut, the gut. The gut is its own ecosystem, right? It is also a womb, because it is a place that once you receive the food and the information from the food, that then goes into your mouth, right? Where you receive it. It goes down your throat, down into your trachea, down your, intestinal tract into your stomach. Your stomach has all these acids and things like that to be able to break down the food and to be able to digest, like I said before, to be able to digest what it is that you've just received. Now, one of the things with the gut that has happened is a lot of folks, and this is something that I have been working on myself, right? And just in full disclosure, but in maintaining your gut wellness, because let me tell you why that's so important. Because your gut is your gut, right? And what I mean when I say that is this: at some points, it becomes, if our gut is needs some addressing, right? If we need to address our gut wellness, sometimes our intuition, we don't trust our intuition, and that's usually it. It's that we're not able to trust fully ourselves, and that's simply because there may be something in the gut, right, like a parasite, like an intestinal parasite of some sort, that is controlling aspects of your avatar, right? And so if you're not trusting your gut, you want to really sit with that and ask yourself why, right? Because it very well could be something in the gut that needs to be addressed in order for you to get back in control of your vehicle or of your vessel. And like I said, when it comes to this energy, this is going to be very important, because one of the things actually that Solara pointed out that I thought was very key was the icons or the glyphs for both Virgo and Scorpio are very similar in nature, right? With the exception that Scorpio's glyph has the little tail, right? The little scorpion stinger at the end of it, right? I thought that was very, very key, because as you break down this information and this energy, that by in all ways, right? You break this information down, and these things go down to the lower realms, right? The lower aspects of the body. So we're talking now from the digestive system to the kidneys, to your reproductive area, to your legs, to your, what I mean? So that's literally what we're talking about. And so one of the things that what you want to do is, after you cleanse your womb, some of the things that you want to do is to be able to elevate your legs, right? This is going to help the blood flow. So as you are releasing toxins and all that stuff, and clearing out any of these energies, parasites, whatever the case, you want to make sure that you are have your legs up, like against the wall, or like your bed, something like that, to where they are up, so that the blood can just recirculate. I call this the redistribution of wealth, right? You're redistributing the wealth. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're doing things like that, because Pisces actually governs the feet. So massaging your feet, right, before you go to sleep, massaging your feet, literally kicking your heels up, kicking your feet up, taking the time to be able to do that, because this is the way that you connect with your whole body, the body, as you would say, the body of Christ, if you may, right? The body of the Christed one, the awakened one, reconnecting with all of you, as opposed to operating in pieces of the self, right? But truly operating from a place of wholeness. Now, there's so much that I want to go in on as it relates to the womb energy and why that's going to be. Let me just dive in for just a second. So, Libra, right? Libra season. We're talking about relationships, right? We're talking about partnerships, unions, relationships. We're talking about balancing the polarities in Libra season. Now, after Libra season comes Scorpio season, right? And it's interesting because, Scorpio season, we're talking about like Halloween and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's so funny because, like, I'm walking Oreo in the neighborhood, and you see people with their Halloween decorations, and it's funny too, because I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, when did these become things, right? Like, when did it become a thing to put like fake spider webs on your grass or whatever, to like make it look like real spider webs? Because the truth of the matter is, right? And then you put spiders there and all kinds of stuff. But the truth of the matter is is if a spider like that showed up at people's house, they would be screaming, going crazy. so so I find it to be fascinating that this is what happens during Scorpio season. And also with these spider webs, people be freaking out about spider webs, and then when it comes to Halloween decorations, you want to decorate and put them everywhere. But when they're actually there, created by the animals, we don't want that. People are weird. But anyway, so I say that to say, we're talking Scorpio season, right? So Scorpio season deals with the reproductive organs. The currency, the currency, the currency, right? So, and I'm going to do a whole other thing on this because it will take time to go into it. But go check out Seven Bomar. He's talked about this. But I'm looking at it, of course, from a womb perspective and a female perspective and a divine feminine perspective on the same topic, which is the ways that the energy of the sacral chakra, the energy of the womb, the energy of creation has been taken, used, manipulated, yeah, and this has been going on had been, right, the powers that had been going on for quite some time. And what I'm seeing is how it's the energy that leads up to the Scorpio season and the energy during Scorpio season, that gets played with a lot. And it's generally for the purpose of creating wealth for other people, right? Using your womb energy, using your emotional energy. And this is why it was always so important to keep this enmity between the masculine and the feminine energy, because that energy is powerful and it can be used to generate power. It can be used to generate power for yourself, or it can be used to generate power for other people if you are using it unknowingly or not consciously. And so the energy of the womb, it was important to keep the wounding in that space constant, so that women are always mad at men are always mad at women. Then in that lower vibrational frequency, we may come together and create new children. And now here is another being that's born from, this cycle of fucked upness, right? That's birthed from these cycles, and now you have another generation that's going through, repeating these same patterns, right? And this is why it's so important to break these cycles, particularly around the womb, around the sacral chakra, around reproduction, around the relationships. This is what I was saying leading up to Libra, from Libra to Scorpio. Be mindful, because you may start to see, things kick up with that, with relationships, and, all these kind of things will start to play. May see these things play out on the as below level, right? Because we're talking about as above, so below, right? And so what I am saying to you all is to be able to learn to harness your own energy, to harness your own power, to harness your own creativity. This is why this time is so key. Because when we're talking about this closing of the cycle of this Piscean energy, there are these beings that are very much aware that Once the cycle is closed and the door is closed on this, and there is enough people in the collective consciousness that is aware of this, that's it. You can't continue to pull the wool over people's eyes when their eyes are open, right? And so what I'm saying is this. Sisters, make sure that you are cleansing and clearing your womb of any trauma, of any hurt, of any pain, of anything that would allow you to be pulled in emotionally and to have those emotions manipulated, to have that energy manipulated as a currency to feed and fuel someone else, right? How many articles have we seen? How many podcasts, how many of these folks have to come out and talk about, relationships and men ain't this and women ain't that and all this kind of stuff before we see what's actually happening, right? People are being played. You're being played, right? And so I am always of the mindset to help people to step back into their own divinity, to step back into your own power. And so with that being said, this is why, to recap, why I titled this Full Moon in Pisces, Healing the Womb, and Creativity. Because all of these things are what's playing out right now. These are the things that have played out, if you may. And these are the things that you will see in the physical, that you will or are likely to see in the physical realm transpire, in the lives of folks, right? Because that's just where we are, right? But just know, like I said, you are here. You are here. So wherever here is for you, you are here, right? And you're hearing this information, you're receiving this information. You've healed your Virgonian energy, or you're working on it, so you're able to digest what it is that I'm saying and take it to your Libran energy of your kidneys or whatever, and to balance that out, to be able to create, to be able to use the information that you're receiving, the knowledge and the wisdom that you are receiving, to be able to create and to co-create with the universe from a place of wholeness, because you are able to flow. You are able to flow. You are able to flow because you have removed stagnation. You've removed stagnation. You've removed stagnation, right? So that's where we are with it. So that's where we are, right? Clearing any blockages that are stopping you from living your best life, from being able to be and walk in the authentic nature of the self that you came and you incarnated. You chose such a time to incarnate, to be able to be the you are, the I am that I am, the I am that you are. You know what I mean? To be able to be who you are for such a time as this, because the collective consciousness needed one of you, right? And so with that being said, make sure that you all go to the website, pick up some full moon. Full moon, it doesn't have to be a full moon in Pisces, right? Because it's the full moon bath salts made for the goddess bath. So I know that all of y'all, all the goddesses out here are taking their goddess baths. So it is made with, it's the black one. So I've got a black one and a pink one, right? So the black one is made with Hawaiian lava salt, magnesium flakes, and Epsom salt. And it also includes our love and happiness fragrance oil, because it's always good to have some love and happiness in your life. But I chose the black salt around the full moon, because at that time, of course, the moon is full. And so you're able to see the light of the moon. But during all of that, everything that has happened prior to then has culminated into that fullness, right? And so you want to be able to shed any energies, to get rid of any energy, especially during this eclipse season, to be able to eclipse out anything that is stopping you from being able to flow, to being able to thrive, to being able to succeed, to being able to create, to procreate, whatever it may be that you are here, whatever you are here to express, to be able to clear that out of your own field, out of your own frequency, so that you can raise your vibration to be where it is that you need to be, to magnetically attract, like the magnesium, to be able to magnetically attract all that it is that you require to be you. So, fig tea helps balance your hormones. And of course, if you all need anything, any of the tools to help you on this journey, make sure that you visit the website at www.consciouscreations.live. And yeah, so thank you so much for everybody who is tuning in on the replay. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, visiting, doing the work, doing what you do, right, to help the conscious collective. So until next time, love yourself well. You deserve it.